Welcome back to the Harvest to Table Videos channel. This is Stephen Albert, your host. If you've ever wanted to grow your own fresh, crisp green beans, you're in the right place. I've been growing green beans for years in my home garden. Today, I'll walk you through everything you need to know, from selecting the best variety to planting, caring for, and harvesting a bountiful crop. Green beans are one of the easiest and most rewarding vegetables to grow. I've grown them in garden beds, in raised beds, and even in containers on my patio. Whether you have a large garden or just a small space, you can grow delicious beans with minimal effort. I'll also share some personal tips that have helped me get big harvests and avoid common mistakes. Let's get started. Choosing the right variety. Over the years, I've experimented with different types of green beans. I've found that choosing the right variety makes a big difference in yield, taste, and ease of growing. Green beans, also called snap beans or string beans, come in three main types: bush beans, pole beans, and runner beans. Each has its own advantages, so let's take a closer look. First up, bush beans. These are the best choice for small gardens and quick harvests. Bush beans are compact plants that grow about 1 to 2 feet tall, and they don't require staking. If you're short on space or want a quick harvest, bush beans are a great choice. In my experience, they produce a large, concentrated harvest over 2 to 3 weeks, so I stagger my plantings every 2 weeks to enjoy fresh beans all season long. Here are some of my favorite bush bean varieties. First, Blue Lake 274. This is a classic high-yielding variety with tender pods. Next is Provider. This is one of my go-to beans for an early harvest. It germinates well, even in cooler soil. The variety Roma 2. If you love flat-potted beans, this one has incredible flavor. Finally, if you want to grow beans in a container, try Mascot. It's a compact hybrid variety that thrives in pots and produces tender, stringless beans. Next, pole beans. Best for continuous harvesting. Pole beans grow as vines. They can reach 6 to 10 feet tall and need a trellis, stake, or other support. One thing I love about pole beans is that they produce continuously for weeks, unlike bush beans, which give a single big harvest. If you want a steady supply of beans, pole beans are the way to go. Here are some of my favorite pole bean varieties. First, Kentucky Wonder. This is a time-tested variety with great flavor, a true classic. Next, the variety Rattlesnake. It grows well even in hot, dry conditions and has subtle streaked pods. Vortex. This variety produces extra long, tender beans that stay stringless even when large. And here's a tip from my experience. When growing pole beans, make sure to set up your trellis before planting. Pole bean vines grow fast. Start them up a support early because it's hard to untangle them later. Now let's consider runner beans, the best choice for pollinators and dual-purpose harvests. Runner beans are similar to pole beans, but have larger pods and striking red or white flowers that attract bees and hummingbirds. If you want both ornamental appeal and edible pods, runner beans are a great option. Runner beans prefer cooler temperatures and grow well in partial shade. A favorite of mine is the scarlet runner bean. I plant them along the fence, not just for the vibrant flowers, but also because they attract pollinators to my vegetable garden. Runner beans can be harvested young, like snap beans, or left to mature for dry beans. Runner beans have a thicker pod texture than bush or pole beans. If you're used to the tenderness of bush or pole beans, I suggest you pick runner beans early before the pods get tough. Each type of green bean, bush, pole, or runner, has its own benefits. Consider your space, growing conditions, and how you like to harvest when choosing the right one for your garden. For small gardens, go with bush beans. For ongoing harvests, choose pole beans. And for beauty plus food, try runner beans. Now let's consider location and soil, and how to set up your green bean patch for success. Over the years, I've found that choosing the right location and preparing the soil properly make all the difference when growing green beans. Here's what has worked best in my own garden when it comes to choosing the right location. Green beans thrive in full sun, needing at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily. I always plant beans in a spot that gets morning sun, which helps dry the leaves quickly and prevents fungal diseases. If you're working with partial shade, you might notice slower growth and fewer beans. Prioritize a sunny location whenever possible. One common mistake I made early on was planting green beans in a low-lying area of my garden. After a few heavy rains, the soil stayed soggy and my plants struggled with root rot. These days, I always plant beans in a slightly raised bed or mounded rows to improve drainage. If you have heavy clay soil, this is especially important to prevent water from pooling around the roots. Now let's consider how to prepare the soil for strong plants. Green beans prefer loose, well-draining soil with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. Before planting, I make sure to loosen the soil at least 6 to 8 inches deep. This encourages strong root development and prevents compaction. After turning the soil, I mix in compost or aged manure a few weeks before planting. This not only improves moisture retention, but also provides essential nutrients without overloading the soil with nitrogen. Since beans are legumes, they fix their own nitrogen. That means you do not have to use high nitrogen fertilizers. Too much nitrogen can lead to lots of leafy growth, but fewer beans, a mistake I made in my first year of growing. Now I commonly use a balanced organic fertilizer with an NPK ratio of 5:5:5 or phosphorus-rich bone meal to promote flowering and pod formation. Planting and supporting beans. How to get the best yield. I plant green bean seeds in the garden about a week after the last frost. I wait until the soil has warmed to at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I once made the mistake of planting too early. The cold soil delayed germination, and a few seeds even rotted before sprouting. If I want an early start, I sow seeds indoors and set seedlings in the garden a week or two after the last frost. Sow bean seeds 1 inch deep. Space seeds 2 to 3 inches apart. Space rows of bush beans 12 to 24 inches apart. Space trellised rows of pole beans 3 to 4 feet apart to give tall growing plants plenty of sunlight and air circulation. Water gently after planting to avoid washing the seeds away. For an extended harvest, I succession plant bush beans every 2 to 3 weeks. This keeps the harvest going instead of getting a big flush of beans all at once. Next, supporting pole and runner beans for maximum yield. Pole and runner beans need sturdy supports to accommodate their climbing vines. I learned the hard way that waiting too long to add trellises can disturb the plant's roots and slow growth. I now install stakes, trellises, or teepees at planting time. Trellises should be at least 6 to 10 feet tall to support vigorous vines. Space rows of trellised beans 3 to 4 feet apart to allow for good air circulation and sunlight exposure. This will reduce the risk of disease. Guide young vines toward the supports early on. I check vines every few days and gently wrap the tendrils around the poles. I've experimented with different support structures. I found that cattle panel trellises work great for large plantings and are easy to harvest from both sides. Bamboo teepees are perfect for small gardens and provide a beautiful, structured look. String trellises are cheap and easy to assemble, but need to be securely anchored to withstand wind. If you live in a windy area, secure your trellises and supports deep into the ground. I've had a few top-heavy bean trellises collapse mid-season. Trust me, untangling and reattaching fallen vines is not fun. Bean care, watering, mulching, fertilizing, and pest management. After growing green beans for years, I've learned that consistent care makes all the difference in getting a healthy, high-yielding crop. Here's what has worked best in my own garden. First, watering green beans the right way. Green beans love consistent moisture, but too much water can lead to root rot and fungal diseases. I aim for 1 inch of water per week, adjusting based on weather conditions. 1 inch of water is equal to a bit more than a half gallon per plant. Here's what I've found works best. Water deeply at the base of the plant. This encourages strong root growth and keeps the leaves dry, reducing disease risks. Overhead watering, especially late in the day, can lead to powdery mildew and blight. In hot or dry weather, I check the soil daily. If the top inch is dry, it's time to water. I've had bean plants stop producing during a heat wave simply because I underestimated how fast the soil dried out. Drip irrigation or a soaker hose is ideal. I switched to these methods after realizing that frequent shallow watering led to weak, shallow roots. If you water overhead, water early in the morning to allow excess moisture to evaporate during the day. Next, mulching. A simple trick for healthier beans. Mulching has been a game changer for my green bean plants, especially during hot summers. Applying organic mulch around the base of the plants helps retain soil moisture, reducing the need for frequent watering. Mulch also suppresses weeds and keeps roots cooler in summer. I've had great success using straw, which is lightweight and easy to spread. I've also used shredded leaves. They decompose and enrich the soil. Keep mulch a few inches away from plant stems to prevent rot and pest issues. Next, let's consider fertilizing and what beans really need. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was over-fertilizing my beans. Unlike heavy feeders like tomatoes, green beans fix their own nitrogen, meaning they don't need much extra fertilizer. Here's my approach. Before planting, I mix in compost or well-aged manure to provide a nutrient-rich foundation. At flowering time, I apply a light side dressing of phosphorus and potassium-rich fertilizer, like bone meal or kelp meal, to support flower and pod development. It's important to avoid too much nitrogen. Too much nitrogen will cause lush, leafy growth at the expense of beans. Now let's consider bean pest and disease management, and how you can stay ahead of problems. Green beans attract pests, but regular observation and early action help keep them in check. Here are the 3 common pests I watch for. First, aphids. These tiny sapsuckers love tender bean shoots. I blast them off with a hose or use insecticidal soap if they get out of hand. Second, Mexican bean beetles. They look like orange ladybugs, but chew holes in the leaves. I handpick them and their yellow larvae whenever I spot them. Third, caterpillars. Armyworms and bean leaf rollers can damage plants. I check leaves daily and remove any caterpillars by hand. Here are some natural solutions to control pests. First, releasing ladybugs and lacewings helps control aphids. Next, neem oil or insecticidal soap works well for infestations. Be sure to spray both the tops and bottoms of leaves. And finally, row covers can protect seedlings from pests during early growth. Set row covers in place as soon as seedlings emerge. Next, how to prevent bean diseases. Fungal diseases like powdery mildew and bacterial blight can be a problem, especially in humid conditions. To keep my plants disease-free, I space plants at least 18 to 24 inches apart to allow for good airflow, and I water at the base of plants to avoid wet leaves. Rotating crops each year is also important in avoiding soil-borne disease. I never plant beans in the same spot where I grew legumes the year before. And one more tip, after each season, remove plant debris to prevent pests from overwintering in the garden. Stick with these tips, and you'll be rewarded with plenty of fresh, crisp beans straight from your garden. When and how to pick green beans for maximum flavor. Harvesting green beans at the right time makes all the difference between a crisp, tender bean and one that's tough and stringy. Over the years, I've found that timing and technique are key to keeping plants productive and ensuring a delicious harvest. Green beans are ready to pick when they are bright green, firm, crisp, and about 3 to 4 inches long. Some varieties can be harvested slightly longer or shorter, depending on preference. Pods should be plump but not overfilled. I check my green bean plants every morning, especially when they start producing heavily. I pick beans in the morning when they are crisp and full of moisture. This keeps them fresh longer compared to harvesting in the heat of the day. Picking every couple of days ensures the beans stay tender and encourages the plant to keep producing more throughout the season. Here's the best way to harvest. Use 2 hands. Hold the vine with one hand and gently snap off the bean with the other. Use scissors or pruners for stubborn beans. This prevents accidentally breaking delicate stems. And don't forget to check under leaves when harvesting. Some beans hide beneath the foliage. Don't leave overripe beans on the plant. They become tough and stringy and will signal the plant to stop producing. Storing and preserving green beans. Once harvested, green beans stay fresh for up to a week in the refrigerator. If you have an abundant harvest of green beans, here are 2 great ways to store them long-term. First, freezing after blanching helps preserve their flavor and quality. Second, drying them and keeping them in an airtight container allows for long-term storage while maintaining freshness. Both methods ensure you can enjoy your green beans well beyond the harvest season. And there you have it, growing green beans from seed to harvest. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Harvest to Table channel for more gardening insights. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. And please let us know what you're growing this season. Want more tips? Check out my vegetable gardening books now available at Amazon. Click on the link in the notes below. Until next time, this is Stephen Albert wishing you happy gardening. See you in the next video.